Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? I am coming to you today with a little video. Okay, so late 2024, I realized I was really so bad at social media. I just cannot get with the program. I'll have like a solid week where I'm doing great and I'm like updating social media and I'm being super communicative and I'm talking with everyone and I'm happy and it's exciting and everything's going great. And then I will just get extremely like fatigued. And there's a lot of things that are going into that. Me getting fatigued, I've already spoken about in the past, but it'll be like I just don't even have the energy to log on. And occasionally I'll pop on and leave a comment here and there, but I really just have not been on social media. So I'm sorry you all if I've just am there for a second and then go ghost. I am still here. I am still in the background. I am still cooking up ideas in my mind. I am just really preoccupied with a lot of things in my life right now, and I'm trying to prioritize things based on the most importance and the most severity of how they're affecting my life. And I feel like because of that, my art has really been put on the back burner this last year, and I'm still kind of figuring out what I'm doing in that regards to my artistic journey. It has been so incredible and so gratifying to be able to introduce new concepts to you all and for you all to be so inviting of those new concepts. I recently released my grays and you all have absolutely been loving them. I am so grateful for just the outpouring of love and compassion with my little designs, because initially I was gonna make a little gray alien, but it was gonna have the traditional eyes, and I don't know what was going on that night, but something clicked for me. I'm like, oh my goodness, it would be so cute to make the eyes big and oval and the stereotypical traditional gray design that we've grown accustomed to in sci-fi literature and media and whatnot. So that was so much fun. I love my baby Reno. That was my first gray baby. I love my second gray baby. Ooh. What's the second gray baby's name? It must be getting bad, guys, because I'm having trouble remembering my dolls' names. And my third gray baby was Velty. It'll come back to me. What was her name? Okay, we're just gonna move on. I cannot remember my second gray baby's name right now. I'm absolutely blanking. I'm sorry. I've been super delirious. I have not been sleeping well. I just think that my physical health and my CI has just really been just super erratic lately. It's been super crazy. So I have not been sleeping properly, and so when that carries over into the next day, I'm what? I used to tell people when I used to work not in the artistic field that I would forget my own name if I didn't have a name tag, because that's just how much I blank sometimes. I'm oh, I'm doing great, and then I'm what? And so I do that a lot. And so please forgive me. I love all of my dolls, and I think I'm getting to a threshold point where I've made so many different dolls, I'm having trouble recalling them by name. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to just give them terms cotton candy kitty or pumpkin orange puppy or something like that. But I always wanted to give them names and give them little personalities and cute little backstories, and I think we do that a lot in this community. I think it's super sweet, but it does get to a point where I start forgetting my different doll names and backstories, because I've made so many of them. And so it's just been such a journey, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch base with you all. I hope everybody's doing good. I think a lot of makers are now getting to a point where they're in their kind of Zen age. They're moving out of their grind era, their hustle era, into their Zen age, and I really love that. I think as artists, we give 110% of ourselves all the time, and that's such a beautiful thing, and that's what makes our work powerful. But every time we give a little piece of ourselves, a lot of times we don't refill our cup, and so we just end up being extremely depleted. And I've been trying to kind of reset myself over this time period. I've also been dealing with a lot of different things and juggling a lot of different things, to the point where it gets hard to kind of replenish and reset when you're juggling lots of other things. And so I've seen that I'm dealing with that, and a lot of other makers are dealing with that, and I want to try to keep this video up on a high note, but I just kind of talk about what's on my mind. And so recently I've seen a lot of different makers, not just in the plushie community, but I follow a lot of different artistic industries and mediums, because art is like my soul's like medicine. Like I just love art. And a lot of people have like been breaking from their shop, or they've been closing down their shops, or they've been like stepping away from their businesses. And I was talking to my family and I'm like, it's just so heart-wrenching to see so many people that have inspired me for so many years, that are like pioneers in their industries and are beyond talented, like jaw-dropping talented, stepping away from like their craft. And it hurts. And I don't know why it hurts me so much, because it's not me, it's not my business, but I think I resonate with that because I'm going through a phase where I'm learning how I want to adjust things for my life in terms of my art, and still being able to give into my art in some sort of way. I think it also hurts me if I'm kind of like analyzing this, because I don't like to see people quit their passion, especially when it's for reasons that are like unwanted. If somebody is at a point where they're like, you know, I need to step away from this, it's not really where I'm going at this point. I've changed a lot of things in my life and I just want to be on a different path. I think that from the outside looking in, in my heart, I feel like happy for them, because I know they're going on to something that's, you know, better for them. But when I see that makers, and this is not, you know, just our industry, are stepping away from their businesses because of like exterior like pressures or certain things going on in their life, and just seeing people kind of like lose their passion in a way that people aren't really conveying is what they want, makes me very sad, because I know how much art has given me in my life, and I don't like to see anybody else lose their artistic passion. And it just made me kind of step back and analyze what's going on with the pressure that people are under, not just in the artistic industry, but kind of like globally, where people just don't feel like they have the mental peace, or, you know, the clarity, or, you know, the ability right there in that moment to continue forward with their passion. And, you know, we're losing a lot of good artists, and there are a lot of great people are dropping out of our communities, and it's just very, very disheartening to me. And a lot of times, like sometimes I even like message my friends that are no longer in the community, and I'll be like, please, like, you know, come back, you know, if that's what you want to do, you know, we love you, we miss you. And it's hard, you know, it's really, really hard. And I myself have had to step away from like my creations. I would never sit here and call myself some like, you know, the greatest of all time, you know, the GOAT. I would never say that. I think I have etched out my little corner, you know, in the plushie community, and that's just kind of where I stay. You know, I don't really leave my corner, and that's been really, really good for me. So maybe it's just because this is myself, or this is imposter syndrome. I don't really feel like anybody cares when I go away for a little while. I don't really feel like people notice when I go away for a while. There are a lot of incredible artists in this community that, you know, are thriving, you know, and that are doing very, very well. So I don't feel like people notice my absence, but I notice other people's absence. And I feel like maybe I'm just more like in tune with different people that are leaving the community, or maybe other people feel this as well. I'm not sure. I haven't really spoken that much to people about it, because it's kind of a sad subject, and I don't really talk to people that often about what I see with like other makers kind of like stepping out of the community, you know what I mean? And I don't like to, it's not like something that just comes up in conversation, you know, those are people's choices, and I fully respect their choices, but that doesn't mean like I don't miss people. I don't miss that connection. I don't miss seeing their art in our community. And also, you know, there are certain styles that are so distinctive that only the maker that created it can bring you those styles. You know, it doesn't matter if there are a million replications, or, you know, it's only their hand and their craft that makes it what it is, because it's their unique style and their unique essence. And when they leave, that essence leaves with them. And I think that really hurts me, because I think that we all add something beautiful to this community. And this is not coming from a place of judgment at all, because I firmly believe people have to do what is best for them, what is best for their mental health, what is best for their lifestyle. I'm making those adjustments right now as we speak. But it doesn't mean that I don't feel saddened by the fact that because of exterior factors, a lot of really talented people feel the need to step away. So I guess that's just what I wanted to convey. Things have been going okay for me with like my design process. Like some days I'm like really pumped, I'm really energized, and I really want to go and create something beautiful. And then other days I'm just like so wiped, I don't even want to think about going and putting something together. And I'm like constantly fluctuating between those two things because of like where I've been at health wise. And you know, having a CI, a lot of people that I've spoken with that suffer with things similarly tell me the CIs take a lot out of people psychologically, because I think there's some sort of misconception that people that don't deal with chronic illness like on a daily basis, that it's just kind of like a physical thing, like your body hurts or whatever. It's not just a physical thing. And that's not me like, you know, trying to be like patronizing in any way. People don't know what they don't know. There are lots of things I don't know, you know. It takes a lot out of you, like mentally. It's extremely mentally draining when you feel like you have to fight against your own body every single day. And it's even more draining when you're trying different treatments, you're trying to like go with the process. And a lot of times, you know, because doctors are trying to kind of figure out new ways to make things easier for you, you kind of get into this like guinea pig phase with your doctors, and you're going to different visits where they're just kind of like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that is extremely like disorienting and very erratic for like somebody's mind, somebody's system. Like I have had so many different things that doctors are like trying to do to like give me treatment for my CI that's like making it worse temporarily, you know what I mean, or just taking so much energy out of me. Like I had to recently start getting steroid injections again, and it's just like a lot. It's a lot to go through that, especially with the way I get them. It's a lot. So after you go through that in a day, you're not pumped the next day to like go create something, which takes a lot of like mental, psychological, like emotional energy to construct it in your mind first, and then go and do the physical labor to put it together. It's a lot. And especially because I'm very, very focused on presentation, like not just the presentation of like of bringing the dolls to you in post. Like I'm very fixated on the way they're presented to customers when they get them, their packaging, colors, different textures. Like I am very, very fixated on all of that, and I need things to be as perfect as I can possibly make them before I give them to people, because I know what I want, what I dream about when I get something that's handmade or something that's a product. And I don't want to say product. I hate referring to our art as like products, because like to me products is like a metal Yeti mug, like a metal, like this is a product. This is a product. What we do is like art. It's deeper than that. And not that this isn't important, because I love Everyday Dose. Shameless plug for Everyday Dose. But what we do requires a piece of our heart. You know, we're not a factory. We're not a machine. These aren't being made on a conveyor belt. Like this is taking like blood, sweat, and tears. And so when you're having to fight your body every single day, it becomes more and more difficult to go to your studio, go to your office or wherever you create, and go and assemble these things. And so I have just been feeling like I have to choose between like prioritizing my CI treatment or creating. And I'm the type of person where like I would push it and work sometimes like 60 hours a week, and I'm not even kidding. My family literally, like my husband once told me he would have to take away my sewing machine because I was that like fixated and obsessed with working. It was so important to me where I would stand for like 10 hours and like only sit down when I had to do something that required sitting, and I would stand. Like I would sit for the sewing and I would stand for the assembly process because it just keeps me more alert. And eventually I ended up incurring consequences because I was pushing my body so hard. And eventually, you know, every artist at some point hits their burnout phase. I don't care what anybody says. Every single artist, regardless of how they do their art, hits their burnout phase. And when you have a chronic illness, when you hit that burnout wall, it is really, really bad. Like you hit that wall like 150 miles per hour when someone else may be only hit it at like 70 miles per hour. You know what I mean? Like it's still bad regardless, but it's like, you know, that's a really, really hard impact, and it's a lot more difficult to come back from that after something like that happens. Maybe I'm just going on like a rant right now. I don't know if I'm like being annoying, and I'm sorry if I am. I just want to talk to y'all about what's been on my mind. I hope you all are doing okay. I hope everybody's really doing okay and taking care of themselves. Oh, happy belated Mother's Day. to all the incredible mothers out there, I'm sorry I was not able to like do an official Mother's Day post. I was actually feeling extremely unwell on Mother's Day, unfortunately. My family's still trying to make it special. I'm very grateful to them for that. And happy belated, even more belated, like May the 4th. I am a Star Wars fan. I'm much more of a Trekkie than I am a Warsian, but I am a Star Wars fan, and I meant to wish you all like happy Star Wars Day also, but once again, I was just like not in a place where I really wanted to get online. Another thing is like, oh, I think I just spaced a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry for missing those announcements. I really wanted to get online and do that. I just think I was like going through a lot. Oh, okay, what I wanted to say was I was coming out of the throes of like that severe allergic reaction. I don't know what was going on, but like my throat like, and I could not take anything except for like, I could not drink anything except for like liquids or ingest anything besides like liquids. And I was on broth for like a few days. Like it was absolutely crazy. And you know, just a few days ago, I still had to go back to broth because things were so bad. We have record pollen in our area, and it's not only like inflamed me, my dog's paws have gotten inflamed. And so it's just like a lot of different things. And so I'm just like, I just feel like I'm fighting for my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like every single day. And it's really just it's really pulled me away from my passion. And so, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my kids were texting me. It's like, kids will leave you alone the entire day and like be on their tablets and their gadgets and not really care. But the moment you're doing something, suddenly they immediately need you. And like, you don't even have to tell them you're doing something. They can sense it. They can sense that you're in the middle of something and need to concentrate. And they'll be like, okay, I need something now. And it's always like something really small that they could have just like kind of figured out on their own, but they want to like, you know, come to you and like they'll interrupt what you're doing. I love them very much. But like I tell my kids they have like superpowers because I'm like, how do you all know I'm in the middle of something and now you guys need help with something that's like really easy to deal with? I don't know if I'm the only mother that feels that way, but yeah. Happy belated Mother's Day to you all. Happy belated May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And so just jumping into some other topics like social media management has just been a wreck. Like I've just really fallen off the boat with that, you all. And what I started out saying initially, oh my goodness, sometimes when I'm talking, I don't finish out what was my original statement, and I'm very sorry about that. I think it's because my mind moves so quickly, and I have like a hyperactive mind that a lot of the times I'll start talking about something, but then I'll jump into another topic and then another topic, and then we never finish like the first topic. So I'm sorry if you guys ever like see me doing that in videos or like speech or correspondences. Like I also do it when I type, and sometimes I'll have to like go back and retype with somebody like, I'm sorry I did not address this thing specifically that you were texting me, like because I jumped into another topic. I don't know if anybody else does that. But yeah, social media management, as I was saying before, it feels like a lot of makers are like in their Zen era. They're kind of leaving their hustle era and going into their Zen era. And I think that like 2023, 2024 was like so hard. Like the last 4 or 5 years have been so hard on everybody. They have been so hard on everybody. The strongest people I know, like this last 5 years took it out of them. Like I have seen people that have been like unshakable, really struggle this last 5 years in like every manner of ways. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like the need to go into details. We're all living in the same timeline. We all know exactly, you know what I mean? Like things have been like kind of wild. And so I just think everybody, I feel like the entire world is like experiencing mass burnout. Does anybody else like feel like that? Like I feel like the entire world is experiencing mass burnout. Everybody's tired. And so I'm seeing a lot of makers like kind of wheel back their presence and kind of just like prioritize like their family and things like that and give social media less. And social media is a beast that is never full. You know what I mean? And that's not about the engagement with the people itself. It's one giant thing. It's like the algorithm that puts a lot of pressure on people to constantly produce posts, constantly, you know, wheel out stuff to get engagement, constantly present things for the purposes of getting likes and clicks and views and all this other stuff. And then you have, you know, the pressure that's on makers for like engagement because we want to stay connected with our communities. We love our communities. We love our friends. We love our fellow makers. We love to be with you all. And most of us don't like having to step back from social media, but it just feels like we have so much pressure on us to perform in social media where we just reach a burnout point where we kind of need to step back. And for me, like I said, I've kind of had to make peace with it, where I'm like, okay, I just can't give as much of myself as I used to because it's taking too much out of me. And I feel like a lot of makers have been doing that. And I just wish there was a more conducive system for us to be on social media, and for us to like market ourselves, and for us, our work and our art, and for us to like communicate with each other. I don't like feeling like me speaking with my friends, I'm in some sort of like giant machine. I don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling like these likes and clicks and shares like become a mandatory form of like social currency, online. And in order to be great, you have to have a certain amount of like social online currency. Like, it's a lot. I just want to be able to be with my friends, be in our communities, and be in our community. And I just feel like the machine of social media has just sucked the joy out of being a part of this artistic space. It really begins to feel like you're only as good as your last project. And it shouldn't feel like this, because this isn't a metal mug. Like, we're not making metal mugs. And that goes for like plushie makers, clay artists, painters, digital artists. Like, it goes for the whole lot of the artistic spectrum. We are not making mass-produced products usually. Even though there are makers that may offer that as a feature, it all stems from our core art, right? And it feels like social media is just a machine to just take as much of your like engagement and activity as possible. And a lot of the times you'll go through a very lengthy process to try to create beautiful presentations, beautiful reels, engaging reels, funny reels, all this other stuff. And it doesn't translate to traction for your social media, which makes people feel dejected, which makes people feel like they don't want to, really produce any more content like that, like it's a job. And really, as artists, just because we're artists does not mean we're content creators. You know what I mean? Like, I hope I'm making sense. There are some artists that are content creators, and there are some content creators that are also artists. But a lot of the times as artists, we are just artists, and we are projecting our work as artists. We are not content creators. We do not, a lot of times we can't juggle the full weight of being artists and honing our craft, and also being in the social media domain where we know how to just work social media amazingly. There are some giants in these spaces that are really, really good at that, but a lot of us are just trying to project our work. And so it's like, well, damn, I've got to be a great artist, and I've got to be great at social media, and I've got to be great at social networking, and I've got to be great at, what else am I trying to say? At like understanding trends and like all these little things that go into it, where it just feels like, okay, speaking of Star Wars, have you ever seen the scene where Kylo Ren like has his ship firing at like the transparent ghost of Luke Skywalker, and he's like, more, like that's what social media feels like. Social media feels like Kylo Ren just saying like more. And we're not an infinite resource as artists. We're not designed to just dump loads of content into the algorithm all day, every freaking day. We are not designed for that. It already takes heart, soul, and all of the energy that we have to create these beautiful pieces. And in the plushie community, we take our craft very serious. Maybe I am biased, but I'm just gonna speak. Plushie artists are some of the hardest working artists on the planet, and I genuinely feel like that. And comparatively speaking, when you look at our industry, okay, let's talk. Comparatively speaking, when you look at our industry and the amount of people that come into the industry and stay in the industry, and then you look at other artistic spaces with the type of people that pick up that art and stay in that art, if we were to look at the plushie community or the plushie industry as like a company or like a corporation, it has a high turnover rate. Do you see what I'm saying? It's really, really difficult to stay in this media for a long time and do well in it in terms of, continuously producing work, because I feel like all plushie artists are stars. I love us all. I really, really do. Even if I'm not like best friends with a plushie artist, I love us all. I think we're badasses. Like, honestly, we are dealing with like super soft material that breaks away and all sorts of particulate that flies in the air, and fabric is unforgiving. Like, I truly feel that way. Like, as a medium, like, fabric is unforgiving, and we're translating these creature designs into tangible form. And so I feel like the plushie community has a very high turnover rate. the plushie industry, excuse me, not community, the plushie industry has a very, if it was like an industry, I know it's not quantified like that, but if it was an industry, it has a very high turnover rate because it's very, very difficult to work in this medium. Other artistic mediums, as incredible as they are, and listen, I'm like I am a multi-talented artist, not in terms of like, oh, I'm so talented, but I mean, I have worked with digital art, I've worked in graphic design, and I've also worked with fabric. So I've done different things. Like what would I call that? I'm a multi-skilled artist, maybe, like, I don't know, maybe that's a better term, but I'm a multi-skilled artist in the sense that like I've done different types of mediums. And by far the plushie industry is like savage, and not in terms of like us dealing with each other, but in terms of the process. This is difficult. It is difficult to spend 10 hours assembling something, and when you flip that inside out, it don't look the way it's supposed to look. That hurts. It's not like that with digital art. It's not like that with some of these other things where you can course correct a little bit better before you make an error. Like, I can't tell you how many plushie artists have lost their projects. For every one project you see, we've lost like 2 of them. And I've gotten to the point where I'm very, very like good at assembling things, so I don't have as many errors, but that doesn't mean that we have no errors. I think I haven't had like a throwaway situation with a doll like in a long time, but you know, that doesn't mean that it's like a smooth process all the time. A little bit ago, like I had an incident like where I didn't like the way something was aligned on a doll, and I had to like go in and restitch things, loosen stitches. Like it can be a nightmare to have to go and like fix something or go and alter something after it's sewn in place. You know what I mean? And this is not to take away from other industries, because I know they have their own difficulties of working with things. I just see a lot more people in other industries than I see in the plushie community. And a lot of times people that are not in the industry of plushie making think it's a lot easier than it is until they get in here and they start to mess with this, and they're like, oh, this is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. So I just think as plushie makers, not only are we artists, not only are we like busting our behinds in an industry that is already, you know, very demanding, we are also dealing with one of the hardest mediums, in my opinion. As somebody looking from the outside in, much respect to all of the other artistic industries. I love you guys. So with that in mind, I feel like we have to give 100% and then an extra 50% on top of that. You know what I mean? And it's tough. So I just really commend a lot of artists for understanding the nature of the machine. I think a lot of us are starting to realize the machine is kind of like broken, and a lot of us don't want to do all these gimmicks to get likes and clicks and all that stuff. If people have fun doing that, that's great. I love it when people have fun being on social media and like making content, but once again, a lot of artists are not content creators, and they're just saying, look, we're not doing it. Listen, I'll get a reel every now and then if I can get it up. You know, if not, if it doesn't, you know, get posted, it doesn't get posted. Like, I'm not doing the whole reels thing. Like maybe that makes me kind of problematic in the sense that, like, how can I complain about the algorithm when I'm not willing to work it? But it's like, why is this a chore to work the algorithm? I remember, listen, I'm an IG kid, you know what I mean? I grew up with Instagram. That will always be my favorite platform, I think, unless something else comes along. And things used to be a lot easier. Like, I don't know what has happened with the algorithm. It's getting to the point where I don't even like using hashtags. Every time I go into a hashtag and I'm trying to put things in the hashtags that are related to my like art and my craft, it's some nonsense. When you go to these hashtags, I'm like, oh my goodness, I do not want anybody to travel through this hashtag and see something crazy because I posted like something in relation to my art, and it's like Instagram doesn't clean up the hashtags to make sure like obscene stuff is not within those hashtags. It's just not fun anymore, like, if I'm being honest. So enough ranting about that. I've had people recommend Patreon to me, and right now I just don't think I'm at a place where I could commit to Patreon. I see a lot of artists, a lot of artists, even content creators saying like, we're kind of done with the machine, we're leaving to go to Patreon. I understand there are like monthly gifts for people that use the Patreon. I really don't know a whole lot about like the breakdown. I just know there are like monthly gifts that you give people, and with me kind of going through like an up and down phase, I just don't know enough now to really make a verifiable decision. And I want to make sure I'm giving my members 110%. Listen, it may take me forever to get something to you, but when I do, it is going to be 110% based. I will give you the best product I can. I'll give you the best presentation I can, because I love you all and I want you all to have a great time. You know what I mean? So, that's just how I'm feeling about like the social media aspect of things. Speaking of like Patreon, I'm a little weary about like subscriptions or asking anyone to subscribe to anything, because I really am sick of subscriptions. We're being subscribed to death, you all. Soon they're going to be paying us. They're going to be forcing us to pay to subscribe to like breathing. Like, that's what it feels like. Everything is a subscription. And I have like really just shut down a lot of my subscriptions, because I'm like, it just feels like you all are robbing me. Like, why do I have 50 million different like photo like cash Dropbox type like subscriptions? You know what I mean? And as makers and artists, we take a lot of photos of our products. We just do. And it just feels like it's all a game and it's all a catch now. You're seeing like how they reposition. Everything has to be some sort of subscription. You can never just pay outright with anything, because the gag is that continuous income is the way to win, a continuous stream of income. So instead of just giving us something that we can just pay for outright, a flat rate, why do that when they can just milk us for money every single month? You know what I mean? So like everything is a subscription now, and it just feels like, oh, it's not even worth it anymore, you know? So I have started doing a lot of the heavy lifting on my own, just because I don't want to freaking deal with the subscriptions. We're being subscribed to death. It's enough. It's just beyond absurd at this point. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes over there. So yeah, the whole subscription thing, I'm just like over it. I recently switched from like Linktree to Card. I don't know if people noticed that. I kind of like Card more. I don't know. I just think like Card is like, it's kind of like slick. Like I kind of like Card. Linktree is like a little like Linktree is like a little sketchy. And a lot of times their login doesn't work. And like you can't log in. It's a common problem Linktree has. Like I think, allegedly, I don't know. Like Linktree, but I was researching and like Linktree has problems with login. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with freaking Linktree. I'm just gonna get a Card, and I really like Card. Website edits and changes. Yes, we are doing some restructuring. So if you're like, where the hell is the site? We're getting things together. At this point, I realize Shopify is just a bit too much for where I'm at in terms of production. I'm only like releasing a few dollars per month when I feel well enough to craft, and we pay for like a lot of features on Shopify. And you know, we were going through all the different features. We're like, that's not used, that's not being used, that's not being used, that's not being used, that's not being used. And we're like, okay, why are we paying for this when we're not using it? You know what? We're just gonna downscale a little bit, so that way I still have a platform to sell my plushies to you all. I still have a cute little platform, but I can kind of like catch my fall in the sense that I don't have like Shopify taking up so much space when it's not being used. And there were like a lot of features we used to use in the past that we're not using anymore, because I'm not creating in the same way I used to. I hope I can get back to that point. I think Shopify is beautiful, but you know, I don't want to pay for something and put, like we were paying for features. I'm like, we haven't used these features in like 8 months and we're paying for this every single month, and they are not cheap. So, we just kind of stepped back from Shopify, and right now we are pivoting to a different platform. It's going to be smaller in scale, and it's going to be, we're still going to be able to bring you all dollies, but you know, we're not going to have like the overhead of like Shopify and all those like reoccurring fees that we're not using, reoccurring features that we're not using. So I'm sorry, but I guess I apologize if there wasn't like any confusion. Like, where the hell did the site go? Like, we're still working on it. I just wanted to work on the back end. I didn't feel the need to like do an entire dissertation when we took the site down, just because we just wanted to work on the back end. You know what I mean? And I haven't been as communicative and as engaged on social media, so I just wanted to take the time to focus on the site. And so that's what we're working through right now. We're just kind of getting all like the bells and whistles in place and making sure everything is streamlined. Thank you all for bearing with me. I know, like, you all remember in our earlier days with the website, like the website saga and like going through like other platforms, and it was like a big hassle. And like my day ones, remember, they've been here through like many different sites, like switching over switching over like different, what are they called? Are they like, what? No, they're not domains. They're, I guess web platforms, whatever. Let's just call them that. I don't know the actual like technical name for them, but we've switched from like one or two, like I think this will be like our third different like web platform, and it's all about kind of like figuring out what works for you. And you know, art is a fluid thing, it fluctuates, and you got to kind of like adjust your approach as you develop in art. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and it just feels like less pressure. Like Shopify just feels like huge, and then like there's never anything on the site, and it's just kind of like like let's just scale it down a little bit, you know what I mean? And also, I feel like the projects that I make now are a little more meaningful, at least to me, because I can focus on them more, and I'm not so worried about like the assembly line, factory, like let me, you know, make as much as possible sort of thing. So yes, look forward to a new site upcoming. We will let you all know in the future when it's been posted, etc. I do have a couple babies in the queue right now. I'm just not ready to release them yet. I have had like a lot going on, and so I've been trying to focus on that, but I do have a couple babies made. You all really, really love these gray aliens. Oh my goodness, I am so grateful. I am so grateful, because when I remember I was talking to my husband, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody's gonna like this. Like maybe it's too weird. Like maybe me as like a sci-fi nerd is like thinks this is the cutest thing ever, but other people are gonna think they're like weird. And you guys love my grays, and it means so much to me. So I'm actually going to be working on another gray concept, like kind of sort of similar. I'm really excited for that. I have been having people like message me and ask me about the gray baby, so don't worry, I'm cooking up something else. Thank you all for bearing with me. I'm like fighting the good fight still. I'm still here. Look at this. I am so sick of this basement. Like I am so sick of this basement. I am about to get in here like a mason and start tearing stuff down. If you all see like just havoc in the background or like a mess, just understand that I have gone full like masonry, and like I'm going to like just take the, or construction, like what is it called, the people that can like do stuff themselves in the house, like reconstruct things. That's what I'm going to be doing, and just like rebuilding this the way I want it, because I'm like totally freaking over it. And you know, like renovation is such a hassle. Like when we like renovated the heck out of our last home, and it was so much. Like it was so much. I have all those people coming over there and like tearing stuff out, and like the drilling and the hammering, and like it's a lot. And I'm somebody that kind of like values my peace and quiet. I don't really like a lot of noise. So like the renovations, it was just back to back renovations. And it wasn't that what was in there wasn't like okay or cool, but like we wanted things to be like more slick, more streamlined. So we like put in new walls, like we put in like new showers, like we put in new stuff because like we wanted it to be more streamlined. Now I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to go through this. Okay, whatever. So listen guys, don't be surprised if you see a mess in the background. I'm just hanging in there. I'm hanging in there day after day. Will I probably do it on my own? Probably not. I mean, at some point I was kidding myself that I can be an interior decorator, because I really like home design, like rustic farmhouse design. Like I love all of that. And our last home was like kind of like rustic-y. So I really love that. But thinking of doing interior design, like actual interior design, are two very different things. And like at some point when I was trying to work on little projects by myself, I'm like, oh, this takes way more than I thought it did. Shout out to all the construction workers. Shout out to all the interior designers and decorators. You guys are incredible, because it's really tough. But at the same time, I'm kind of like tired of like waiting for us to get like things in order so we can get the right people out here to do this. So I'm just like, I might just need to like just start working on it myself. To like kind of get the ball rolling. So we'll see. Sorry, there was another text. Why do people keep texting me right now? Why do people keep texting me right now? Like, but that wasn't my kids that time, funny enough. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch base with you all. I love you so much. I hope everybody is doing good. Yeah, expect some more cute things to be upcoming. Another thing is like photography. I've been trying to figure out like the best way to photograph my dolls. Like I love photographing outside. I think it's so beautiful, like especially where I'm at. Like I really love like the foliage and the way it looks as like a cute backdrop, but this heat is no joke, and I just cannot stand out there and photograph these dolls because it's so hot. It's so hot. So I'm like, how do I photograph the dolls in like a different way? So yeah, my setting got kind of like shaken up with how I usually photograph dolls, so now I'm kind of trying to figure out an alternative. So we might be experimenting with the photography for a little bit, so just hang in there with me for that if you want or not. I mean, it's up to you. But I love you guys. So I don't really think I have much else to say. I feel like I came up here to say something different, but at some point I just forgot. I'm sorry about that. I love you guys very, very much. I wish I had a new baby to show you, but I actually do. I have 2 in the queue, but I'm not going to show them yet. I'm just going to wait until we get things together with the new site and kind of like iron things out there. And then we will debut those babies at some point. I just feel like I've just been so like dragging my feet to release things. And I feel like if I don't have a baby or like multiples to present every single week, like I'm failing and everybody's gonna forget about me. I'm gonna come back there like, who is this? And like nobody's gonna know anything, but you all are consistently here. You are consistently in the bushes. You guys consistently support me. I appreciate you all so much. None of this is possible without my members and the people of this community that really hold our plushie industry together. I love us so much. I love this space. I love the talent. Like I said, I am very biased. I think plushie creators are like the most talented artists in the world. And if we're not the most talented artists in the world, we're pretty up there on the list. We're pretty high up. Like, I'll give us that. So I love you guys. Yes, I've said that like a billion times already. I'm about to go and maybe work on this project a little bit. I can't wait to get those other babies out to you. They're so cute. They're one of my favorite designs. And one of them is in one of my favorite colors. I wonder if anybody can guess like what that color is. You guys know me. You guys get pretty familiar with like the colors that I like to use. Speaking of a color that I really, really, really want to use again this year, it is red. You all know I have trouble seeing the color red in like really, really bright fluorescent like neon pinks. I don't know what happened to me like as a teenager, but I remember like being in the store and like I used to look at journals because I love writing. Like writing and journaling is like my first medium. I really, really love it. And I would look at journals whenever I would get into like any store, especially if there was like a stationery section. I would always go and look at the journals. Always, always, always. Ask anybody that knows me. And I remember looking at a neon pink journal cover, hardcover, and my eyes started hurting really, really bad. Like I started getting a headache. And ever since then, I have extreme issues with fluorescence. Sometimes I can look at them in like small like sections. Like I'll sometimes include small fluorescence onto my plushies, or I'll include occasionally like a very like bright like neon fluorescent doll or plushie, but it's very hard for me to like work with the red tones. It's easier for me in like greens and blues and like other colors, but when it starts to get to like reds and pinks, if you'll notice, I have like a fluctuating scale for like pink tones, and I really never go outside of those tones. There was one time I made a neon red pine marten, and it was one of the most excruciating processes like I've ever been through. I will never do that again. I will never use that fabric again. Like that was so excruciating. My eyes were hurting so bad. Like my head was hurting so bad. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if I like can't like look at certain colors without like headaches occurring. But how did I get into that? Talking about fluorescence. One of the things I want to do is use red this year. I want to use red again because I don't know why I have like an aversion. Like I know why I have an aversion to like using red because it's like it's hard for me to look at. But I just really wish I could like push past that to release more red plushies. Because when I was a kid, when I was little, red was my favorite color. And I loved red. I love red and everything. I love strawberries and cherries. Like I love the color red. And as I grew older, it became more difficult for me to see the color. And I do remember that incident as a teenager looking at the neon pink cover, and like my eyesight has like never been the same when it comes to pinks. So yeah, I hope to release a red plushie. Red is like a gorgeous color. It's such a passionate color. And I really want to release something red. So I want to try and pass my discomfort to release something red. But it's not going to be like a super fluorescent, like bright red. Yeah, I could almost barely even like look at that fabric like with any sort of clarity without feeling dizzy. So yeah, look forward to those things. I love you guys so much. I'm saying that again for like the 50 billionth time. Please take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself. This is an unreasonably long video. I'm very sorry for being long-winded. I think that's just how I am. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Again, I love you. Love you very much. And I want you guys to love yourselves and love your art and love everything about you. Unless it's something that you want to change, and then you change that for you and the betterment of your own life. And don't let anyone fill your head with doubt. You're incredible, okay? I'll talk to you guys later in another 15 months. And have a great day. Bye.